stress hormones and imbalance, sex hormone imbalance. That's what we're going to talk about today. I want to bring new light information of how these systems work and how they are integrated with each other, and what other systems is this affected by. But not only that, what are your symptoms? You cannot get rid of a lot of the symptoms even by taking medications. What can you do different? How can you help yourself organically? And that's what I'm going to talk about today, guys. I'm Dr. J with Imagine Wellness Center, and I want to bring hope for you on how to identify the dysfunction to your stress, or also sex hormone imbalance, what they do for you, how they work, and what is it, and why is the reason that you really want to create a balance of your sex hormones. Because it's not just about sex. Your sex hormones play a huge role in so many variety of different areas, in which we're going to talk about today. But I want to bring you a solution. What can you do? Not only that, what other areas are your sex hormones affecting that could be causing you disease or causing some kind of a symptom in which you might be taking medications for? So again, let's get started. Let's begin. Let's get educated. At the end of this presentation, I will have a questionnaire for you that you can fill out and find out if you do have an imbalance to your sex hormones or what else is out of place in your body. And we'll talk about the 4 health systems in which I concentrate. If we can balance that infrastructure, then we can balance your root cause of dysfunction and disease. This is what I'm bringing to the table for you today. So let's get started. I want to begin by explaining to you a little bit about what are the hormones, how do they function, and what should you know about them. All right. So again, welcome to Imagine Wellness Center. Let's start. Some of you guys are going to have low hormones. And what are the symptoms that you're dealing with, especially with low estrogen levels, especially as women? It's during the menopause or even before menopause. How are you doing with your hot flashes, night sweats, irregular periods, vaginal dryness, loss of libido, no sex drive, right? How about mood swings, irritability, depression, panic attacks, fatigue? I'm going to talk about how that physical aspect affects you and how the psychological aspect affects you. So remember, your estrogen is essential also by bone density. It affects so many things from digestion, and it can really cause an imbalance. So if you're dealing with any of the symptoms, it means that you might be low on that estrogen, right? Progesterone is huge in a lot of you. What are those? What is this chemical doing in my body? So where are these hormones produced? Well, right now we need to understand that your sex hormones are produced in women is going to be through your ovaries and the adrenal glands. In men, you're going to have your testes and the adrenal glands. So we understand where the production of these hormones come. Now, the adrenal glands are little glands above your kidneys that will produce sex hormones. Now, if you are low in them, or you have any kind of imbalance, you're going to have anxieties, mood swings, difficult staying asleep, especially in cortisol, which we'll talk about in a minute, depression. Your sex hormones, progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen, play a huge role in synthesizing the neurotransmitters in your brain that's going to give you that feeling of emotions, the feeling of angriness, happiness, mood swings. You're going to get those from your sex hormones. Imagine that, right? I've always asked myself, why is it, especially in women when they are menstruating, why are they, they go dark on us, right? You change yourselves and emotions. And again, not for everybody, but people that do have that problem is because, again, the synthesis of those neurotransmitters, the chemicals in your brain that gives you your happiness, your angriness, that's the reason why. So the connection between your sex hormones and your neurotransmitters in your brain do exist. All right, you are going to have weight gain, difficult losing weight, foggy thinking, you can't think straight, you're going to be tired, low libido, no sex drive, no motivation, headaches, migraines, and like I said, irregular periods. Again, this is what's going on with progesterone. Okay, very important to understand sex hormones play a huge role in a variety of different areas for you. Okay, sex hormones are essential for your muscle tonicity, like testosterone, your bone density, liver function, hair. I mean, there's so many functions. It affects your digestive system. So we want to make sure that those levels are well balanced, because if not, This is where the beginning of disruption comes from. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk also about adrenal glands. Okay. How does the parasympathetic, sympathetics? This is your stress. What is going on with your stress? Why am I so stressed out? And even how is my stress affecting other areas? Because my doctor says that my problem to my digestive system, it becomes from my stress. And that's what Dr. J is talking about. Well, let me tell you about this. All right. So when you are having problems with stress, okay, it's about the parasympathetic and sympathetic of adrenal function in your body. Your adrenal glands will have a huge say-so on these things. Now, imagine this. You have a system called the sympathetic nervous system, and this is the fight-flight response. If somebody's chasing you with a knife, you need to run for your life, right? You either run for your life or you fight for your life. Those are the two choices you got, right? For that, you need tons of energy. And at this time, when that energy is needed, your adrenals will produce cortisol, will produce this adrenaline that's going to increase the production of this substance because you need all this energy immediately, right? And what happens, the physiological changes in your body is really what happens, like pupil dilation, increase of heartbeat, right? You increase heart, your breathing increases, right? Your glands secrete, your liver increases rate of sugar in your body for glucose. Your digestion decreases in activity. The adrenal gland stimulates the adrenaline, vaginal contraction, and then your urinary bladder relaxes. This is what you call the sympathetic nervous system, right? So if somebody's chasing you with a knife, you don't think about eating because that system is not on right now. You're thinking about surviving. And that's kind of what goes on in the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is at the other side of the stress, is where is rest and digest, right? It's opposite. Your pupils will constrict, your heart rate will relax, right? Your bronchos will decrease, your liver starts to release bile for digestion, your blood vessels constrict as before they dilated, stimulate activity of breaking down your foods, right? Your uterus relaxes, urinary increases output of urine. So again, it is the other side of the coin, okay? This is rest and digest. So therefore, when this system's only one can be on at a time. And this is where the problem happens. When you're stressed out, this is cortisol elevates. And when that cortisol elevates, now you're creating all these different dysfunctions because your body's thinking that somebody's chasing it with a knife or a gun, but in reality it's not. It's just your pressures of your life. So when your pressures of life increases cortisol, you have an effect of inflammation in the hippocampus of your brain. Is going to affect your heart, high blood pressure. Is going to affect your thyroid. Is going to affect your liver. Is going to affect your digestive system. So again, you see, you're creating sleeping patterns, imbalances. So this is what's going on when you're talking about stress in your life, is that we need to have one or the other system on. So if you have that parasympathetic on, you're resting and digesting. If the sympathetic stress cortisol elevates, now somebody's chasing you with a knife, fight, flight response. And that's what creates a lot of the imbalances, because one of this will have to be really on. Now, adrenal fatigue or exhaustion. If you have this stress so high, it comes a point where your adrenal glands decides not to function anymore, right? I'm just tired. And it decreases the production of cortisol. What happens then? You're going to have all kinds of other issues, right? You're going to have hair thinning, wrinkles and acne. You become older, mood swings, fatigue, low libido, dry skin, sore feet, muscles and nerve pain, anxiety, some mild depression, right? So you're having this problem because now you don't have the adrenaline to get your body going. And this is one of the biggest things that I see with a lot of my patients, that we need to understand how your sex hormones are affected and how your adrenal glands are affected. Now, one of the biggest things that I want you to understand also in adrenals is that the way you test it is going to be very important. When we get taught to test adrenals or sex hormones, but in the adrenals, we get taught to check them in blood. See, your adrenal production, or the cortisol production in your body, has a circadian rhythm where it's high in the morning and then it becomes low at night. So therefore, if we check it in the morning, then we're just checking what's going on in the morning. We don't know what happens at 2 o'clock when you're crashing, you have no energy, you can't even get in your car and drive. So we need to check it throughout the day. This is the reason why we do a saliva test. So we can check it 4 times of the day, and then we can identify exactly what area at the day or what area of the day and the time to increase the production or calm down the production according to what this is happening and creating this stress in your life. So again, testing is going to be essential. We want to make sure you check that. Okay, so so that's what we're doing now. I just wanted to kind of integrate this for you to understand that your systems in your body, they don't work by themselves, especially in the hormones. Okay, I have a whole webinar on thyroid and how it's misdiagnosed. And yes, your pancreas and insulin for you guys who are diabetic. So there's a connection with all of these guys, and they're all connected to each other. Okay, your estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. All right, they are huge within each other. They can't work without each other. Okay, but then cortisol, progesterone converts into cortisol. Remember that energy that you need comes from the adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands produces DHEA that is going to convert into your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. It creates, it's an extra gland to create your sex hormones. Thyroid creates energy to all cells of your body, including the hormones in the process. Your digestive and metabolic is going to be affected by your thyroid hormone also. Not only that, if you're not breaking down your sugars, if you're not absorbing sugar, you see, all this adrenaline, everything is connected with your sex hormones. And this is the reason why maybe when you're going to your doctor, you're taking care of one thing, but then you're not looking at the other areas that could be the disbalance. And that's where I see the biggest mistake that people make. And I want to make sure you understand that that's not what we want for you. I want to teach you, I want to educate you differently. Now, I'm going to take it even further out of how I want to help you and how I've created a process called the IW method that's going to change your life to how to understand systems imbalances. And the way I see the infrastructure of your health in which I need to work with you is going to be correlating into 4 health systems: your digestive system, your endocrine system, which you spoke about hormones, which you spoke about how your testes, your ovaries produces sex hormones, and also your adrenal glands will produce those sex hormones, right? So, but how are they connected in the bigger picture that could be causing an imbalance elsewhere? Well, we spoke about how your sex hormones affects the neurotransmitters. Okay, how do those progesterone, testosterone, estrogen synthesizes the dopamine, serotonin, and GABA in your brain that gives you your good feelings, it gives you angriness, it gives you happiness, that decreases the anxiety, right? So this is the reason why it's important. They're integrated with each other, and one cannot work without the other. Okay, your digestive system plays a huge role in variety everywhere. It is the second brain. So they're all connected. So if I'm only looking as a doctor, looking at your symptoms, that only comes because your sex hormones are low, but I'm not looking at the root of why, then I'm not giving you justice to heal, because I'm not looking at just the systems, the symptoms that you're providing for me. But in reality, if I'm having depression, could it have an effect from my sex hormone? Yes. Could it have an effect from my digestive system? Most definitely. Your happy neurotransmitter called serotonin comes from your digestive system, about 80% of it. Without it, you can't be happy. And that affects your neurotransmitters, right? You never hear about that, because nobody puts the connection. And this is what I'm telling you. I want to teach you. I want to educate you. But above all, I want to test this right. And I have the way of doing it. Okay. I do have understanding of this step for you. Next is to take a questionnaire that's going to dictate which of the system is out of place, how can you restore it, and what can you do for it? You see, I worked so hard to put this concept online so we can help you bring different ways of restoring and learning of how you can become healthier. Because until now, you've been researching, and maybe you've been taking all the supplementations and medications, but yet you're not perfectly right. And now you slave into all these different kinds of hormones. What if we understand the root cause of why your body's not producing any of this? Because as we live life, especially in sex hormones, they affect every step of the way, right? And I need you to understand that by understanding systems out of balance, we're really going to identify what is going on with you. This is the reason why I always talk about these 4 health systems. Listen, when you start decreasing in production of sex hormones, especially in menopause, in the older generation, when you start feeling hot flashes, when you start feeling weaker, you start strong, you're not as strong as you used to be. That's because those sex hormones, right? And the depleting of us of the menopause and andropause is the beginning of what? Decreasing of our strength in our lives. See, we are going to age, but the sex hormones and the adrenals and what I'm talking about is part of your strength to become what? Age gracefully and strong. So this is my question to you. What is going on in your life? What can you do different? What can you do to really balance your sex hormones, and how can you become stronger? Because they do play a big role. If you're in menopause and you're no longer producing sex hormones from the ovaries, your adrenal glands should be kicking in and producing them. How do you know if they are or not? We need to test it. If you're stressed out and you're really high in cortisol, you're creating all this inflammation and all the symptoms that we just spoke about, right? Do we need to identify where the imbalance is? Yes, we got to do a saliva test. We have all of this for you of how to do it and what to do for the imbalances that come from these labs and from these results. It's all basic science. And I want to provide that information for you, and I want to help you. It is time to do something different. Your life is short, and I know that you have been created and you've been given a chance to live a strong life. And most of us, we're supposed to be living our golden years as we get older, but then when we get older, we don't have the strength, we inflame, we have disease, we really don't know how to restore that system. And when we get to the chance to enjoy our lives, we can't because we have a lot of pain. Now, come on, that is not what you want. It is not what it is for everybody. We have to look at things differently. I have a way of helping you, and I have organic way of identifying your symptoms and creating those systems that are out of place. I have a way of restoring those areas so you can live stronger, healthier, the way God intended to, and then you can enjoy life and be out there and doing the greatest things that you've ever wanted to do. Right? We are from a generation that thinks ahead and is strong, and that's what I want for you. I want you to think ahead. I want you to think about maintaining your health, your strength. And when God takes us, we're going to be strong. Okay? But until then, you're going to enjoy your life and do the things that you love and you enjoy, spend time with family. And we all have a reason why we want to become older. I want you to understand. I love this picture because I want you to be wild as you were always were when you were young, and you can have the vitality in the life and the expectation that you are going to be stronger the older you get. If you want your golden years to be blessed, you've got to stay healthy. This is my message for you today. You need to stay healthy, and I know and I have the way of bringing that to you. So with that said, I want to make sure for you to understand that there's a way that you can do it. Let's stay healthy. Let's accomplish our lives, what we meant to accomplish. And let's do it until the end strong. But if you're not checking your imbalances and your systems, your digestive, your endocrine, your neuroendocrine, the circulatory and autoimmune inflammation, if those are the areas that is keeping you back from enjoying your life and living a more prosperous life, and really try not to take tons of medications and all these things that you're dealing with in chronic disease, I can tell you this. Let's take this questionnaire. Let's identify what systems are out of balance. I'm giving you all this information online, and you can tap on the button right now, and I will start your process. From there, we'll talk about everything of the cost of the tests, how they work, why are we doing them, and how these systems integrate with each other, right? Don't let life slip away, and don't just be sick. If you're tired of being tired, sick of being sick, do something about it. This is your opportunity. I'm Dr. J. I'll be seeing you soon.